We've got a new brand coming into the channel, but not necessarily new to the scene. Data Frog, known for their retro gaming handhelds, has sent over their S13 wireless game controller. Let's get it unboxed and tested. But before we continue with the video, let's keep the lights on here in the studio. This video was brought to you by Sneak Attack Design Lab. They're a clothing company that specializes in technical fashion, more commonly known as techwear, and you can see me in their clothes in most of my videos. I've been supporting their brand ever since I met them back in 2019, and now they're returning the favor. Head on over to the link in the description to get 10% off of your order from their site. Check their clothes out, you're bound to see something badass over there that'll look great on you. Thank you very much to Sneak Attack for this exclusive promo for my viewers. Now, back to the video. So the S13 is an entry-level wireless game controller from Data Frog. As we can see here on the box, it is fairly simple. At the back, we can see a diagram for the button layout and the highlight of its supposed, more on that later, tri-mode connectivity, 2.4 GHz, Bluetooth, and wired. Alright, upon opening up the box, we can immediately see the USB-A to USB-C data and charging cable. It is only USB 2.0, so don't expect to fast charge the 1000 mAh battery on this. After that, we get the controller wrapped in a styro bag. There's nothing here in terms of protection for bumps during shipping. Pretty unfortunate. Protect your devices better, Data Frog. Anyways, the last thing inside the box is the manual and quick start guide. Very bare. Alright, that's everything inside the box. Let's head on over to the product tour. Before moving on to the product tour, I would just like to remind you that if you're liking the video so far, please consider subscribing. Less than 1% of the people watching my videos are subscribed to the channel. Subscribing is free and greatly helps me in continuously creating content for this channel, and of course, is always greatly appreciated. Alright, let's head on over to the product tour. So as we can see, the Data Frog S13 is a very simple, very basic controller that's of the Xbox shape and button layout, and not much changes to the formula. It is entirely made of plastic, so it's very light in the hand, and underneath, we have a basic grippy texture to help with ergonomics. Starting at the front, we have the standard ABXY cluster and a cross-style D-pad, and two Hall effect joysticks with RGB rings. The gamepad has been underwhelming so far, but it's nice that at least the joysticks are Hall effect. As for the middle cluster, we have the standard start and select with the logo button in the middle. Arranged vertically under the logo button are the share button and the M button. We'll get back to the function of that M button later. Moving on up to the top, we have the standard left and right bumper and trigger configuration. Unfortunately, the triggers on the S13 are not Hall effect, only membrane, but according to their site, also supports linear analog output. Alright, moving on to the back, we can see that there is a lack of any additional mappable buttons. There's also something missing here. Remember that it said on the box that this was a tri-mode controller? Well, it's not. There is a very obvious lack of a 2.4 GHz dongle here. It's not in the box, nor is it stored in a nook in the body. So yeah, this gamepad only supports wired and Bluetooth inputs. Please correct the box branding, Game Frog. Alright, that's everything on the gamepad. Let's get it plugged and set up. So now I've got the Data Frog S13 connected by wire to my PC. As we can see, pretty dim RGB lighting around the sticks, but that's not an issue for me. I don't really look at my gamepad when I'm playing. I'm looking at the screen. What we're here to look at are the 4 built-in features that you can customize right on the S13. First off is the turbo function, which will just repeat a button press continuously while the button is pressed down. To activate it, just press and hold the M button and press any key that you want to activate turbo mode on. Doing it one time will activate manual turbo, but doing it the second time on the same button will activate auto turbo. Doing it a third time will turn off the turbo function for that button. Do note that you can activate the turbo function on multiple buttons, and if you want to clear the turbo function for all buttons, you have to press the M button and the D-pad down button simultaneously. The turbo speed is adjustable too. Pressing and holding the M button and pressing the D-pad up or down will either increase or decrease the repeat rate of the turbo function. The speeds are low, which does 5 presses per second, medium, which does 12 times per second, and high, which does 25 presses per second. It is a pretty wild feature to have on such a simple gamepad. Good job, Data Frog. Second feature to customize is the vibration intensity. Like I've done so with my other gamepads before, I want to set this to the maximum strength. And I can do that by holding all bumper and trigger buttons down for 2 seconds. This will cycle through the 4 available settings: off, low, medium, and high. Third feature is RGB light adjustment. We can just double-click the M button to switch light modes on the RGB lighting. Holding down the M button and pressing D-pad left or right will adjust the brightness of the RGB lighting. Lastly, and most importantly, we have joystick calibration. Holding the option, logo, and menu button will make the joystick lights blink. Then, rotate the joystick fully 3 times each to calibrate them back to 0. Then press the B or A button to finish. Then we can also adjust the dead zone for each stick individually. Just press and hold the M button and the L3 or R3 button for 2 seconds to enable 0 dead zone for either stick. The joystick ring will flash green when enabled and blue when it's disabled. Also note that this setting will be lost after shutting down the controller. It is fairly useful to have this. For a basic gamepad, it's got a lot of built-in features. Alright, now comes the fun part, testing it. Let's go. Before everything else, we're going to be checking the polling rate as well as the circularity of the sticks. A quick test on the Gamepad latency analyzer reveals that the Data Frog S13 runs at 1000 Hz in wired but only 125 Hz on Bluetooth. It's low compared to the 250 Hz Bluetooth gamepads we've been taking a look at recently, but 1000 Hz in wired is pretty sweet. And as we can see here in the Gamepad tester website, we have a circularity average error of 2.9%. I maintain that anything below 4% is acceptable, so this is well within my standards. Also, as we can see here, we do not get linear control on both triggers. Yeah, fix this, Data Frog. It's either on or off. Yeah, no linearity control. Alright, we'll be testing it in 3 games for today. Let's head on over to the first one. Starting off with the ever-favorite Forza Horizon 5, I've found that the experience on this is fairly great. Since I drive double stick in this game, meaning the left joystick controls steering and the right stick controls acceleration and brake, the only times I had to use the face or bumper buttons was when interacting with the menu. And yeah, if you drive like me in racing games, the S13 offers a pretty good experience. The sticks are nice and responsive. I kept the 0 dead zone feature turned on, but that's mostly personal preference, and rotation of the sticks have been pretty smooth. I do prefer to have taller sticks though, but since this doesn't have customizable sticks, I'm going to have to achieve that by putting on taller stick covers. So yeah, pretty good. Moving on over to the second game, we have Tekken 8. Yes, no more Tekken 7, and this is where I test the responsiveness and comfort of both the face buttons and the D-pad. And while I can say both are super mushy and not in any way, shape, or form the optimal way to experience Tekken, they didn't do so bad. Buttons are pretty responsive, and that cross D-pad has shallow enough actuation that I didn't have any problems with character movement or sweeps. But like I said before, don't use this for competitive or even try-hard sweaty sessions. You're best served by a different gamepad for that. Lastly, we have Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. This one acts as an overall test, as I am going to be pressing almost all of the buttons for this game. And yeah, it's a pretty solid basic controller. It performed okay, and I found no problems in either performance or comfort. It just feels like a straight-up Xbox controller for Windows. I don't really know what else to say. It's a pretty straightforward experience. So, what do we think about the Data Frog S13 wireless gamepad? Coming in at $32 or 1,900 pesos, it's kind of a hard sell. Sure, it performed well, had relevant features, and was comfortable enough, but at that price point, you're going to find some better selections, ones that actually have 2.4 GHz dongles and feature Hall effect sensors on both the joystick and LR triggers. It's just a straight-up basic Xbox controller for Windows. If that's all that you're looking for, sure, go ahead. But if you're looking for a better deal on a more feature-laden gamepad, you might have to look somewhere else. So that's the Data Frog S13 wireless gamepad. Do you have any questions about it? Leave them down in a comment and I'll do my best to answer them. While you're there, give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps out a lot. That's it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.